10 most disturbing acts committed by the Joker. Let us know what your favorites are, and remember to push that red button to subscribe for more. Becoming Emperor Joker. Our first spot goes to the Joker becoming the emperor of his own little universe. After stealing the power of the imp villain Mr. Mxyzptlk, Joker fashions himself as an emperor and remakes the entire universe to his liking. Because the Joker has absolute control over this universe, he also chooses to put all of its inhabitants in a constant loop, with them having to go through the same ordeals every day. As we all know, the Joker has an unhealthy obsession with Batman, and he uses his godlike power to torture Batman again and again. Sewing Batman's mouth shut, Batman is put through agonizing pain every day. While the Joker could do whatever he wanted with his powers, he chose to focus it on Batman. It's not so much what he does that's the most disturbing part though. It's the thought that Batman really is the main focus of the Joker's life. Oh, and he eats China, slicing his tongue in two. There isn't much in the way of reason behind this entry. During the events of Batman R.I.P., the Joker is simply annoyed, licks a razor blade, and slices his tongue right down the middle. With this being such a relatable kind of pain, it's truly cringe-inducing to look at, far more so than the Joker having his face removed only to wear it again. We can't claim it to have any great insight into the character of the Joker, nor is it even anything especially original. It was just downright horrible to look at, which is why it's made this list. The Clown Prince of Crime just made us cringe, and sometimes that's all it takes. Killing Jason Todd. Jason Todd had a hard run as a character. Being the stand-in for the supremely popular Dick Grayson, it was pretty difficult for Jason Todd to get over with the fans. While there wasn't much inherently wrong with this character, the audience just couldn't take to him in the same way they did Dick Grayson. As a result, the decision was made to kill Jason Todd off, and who better to do it than Batman's archenemy, the Joker. We all know about the fact that the Joker killed Jason Todd, the second Robin, in a fiery explosion along with his mother. What's easy to forget though after all this time, and with Robin being presented in so many different ways, is that Jason Todd was a kid. Keep in mind that Jason is just a child. The Joker blew up a child. And it's not the only time he's done it. The Joker blows up a school. Batman, Cacophony. In one of the more senseless acts on this list, the Joker proves he can always make time for a child, a bomb, and the ensuing fiery explosion. When meeting with fellow criminal Maxie Zeus, Maxie decides to threaten the Joker. He tells the Joker that he will crush him like a bug. The Joker responds that he will crush Maxie like a room full of unibrowed school kids. Maxie, of course, doesn't get the joke, until the school they're standing in front of blows up right before them. If there's one thing the Joker's good at, it's doing awful things in order to send a message, and writer Kevin Smith understands that better than most Batman writers. The murder of Sarah Essen, No Man's Land. Anything can happen in No Man's Land after an earthquake ruined Gotham City and turned into something resembling a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Established characters like Orca died and were being eaten by characters like Croc, and they were willing to do just about anything in this epic. The Joker makes a promise to kill every child born during this time of upheaval. Bravely, Sarah Essen, who's the wife of Jim Gordon, decides to fight off the Joker. While she manages to save the children, the Joker drops one baby, and just after catching the kid, the Joker used the opportunity to shoot her in the head. The Eye and the Pencil, Arkham Asylum, a serious house on serious Earth. After the lunatics had taken over the asylum, the Joker desperately wanted Batman to come to the asylum to see them and to try and stop them. He lures the Bat in by phoning him and saying that he's going to stab his therapist in the eye with a pencil. He talks about how sharp it is, and his therapist begins to scream. Batman immediately makes his way to the asylum in an attempt to save her. When he arrives, he finds her completely fine. The Joker had simply scared Batman into coming to the asylum, and while the therapist was certainly scared, no harm had come to her. This was without a doubt one of the Joker's scariest moments, and the entire thing happens off-page. We only hear what Batman hears, making those moments incredibly tense. With the dark, grim artwork and Grant Morrison's writing, there isn't a doubt in the reader's mind that the Joker has done anything but harm the woman. He fooled the Bat, and us too. His abuse of Harley Quinn. The Joker's relationship with Harley Quinn is often praised by fans, not for the same reasons that tweens that hashtag relationship goals do though. Instead, it's because of the truly disturbing abusive relationship to which the Joker subjects Harley Quinn. After manipulating her into being his sidekick, the Joker has done very little other than use and abuse her. While he's incredibly violent and often downright terrifying to her, whenever she tries to get away from him, or finally gets sick of him, all it takes is a bouquet of flowers to get her back on his side. She's simply obsessed with him, him, and for the longest time she was stuck in a vicious cycle of abuse. While Harley has now begun to stand on her own 2 feet away from the Joker, the way he's treated her, even in the kids show where she initially appeared, will always be hard to watch. Torturing the Gordons. The Killing Joke. In what is undoubtedly the most popular Joker story, the Joker shoots Barbara Gordon. Not only does he cripple her, but he also has her stripped naked, tortured, and according to Alan Moore, raped. All the while, the Joker was taking photographs. All of those photos and the sounds of her crying are later used to try and drive Jim Gordon insane, in a vain attempt to prove that the rest of the world is just as close to going mad as he is. The Joker doesn't exactly understand human psychology though, and instead of driving Gordon mad, all he does is really piss him off. The Joker is proved wrong and captured, and thankfully both Gordons are tough as nails, with Jim Gordon making it through the ordeal and Barbara Gordon eventually becoming Oracle, an inspirational character for readers with disabilities. Not to mention, in the New 52, Barbara eventually becomes Batgirl again, breaking his own neck. The Dark Knight Returns. The Dark Knight Returns is widely considered to be the greatest Batman comic ever written, penned by longtime Daredevil writer Frank Miller. Miller brought the grit of his Daredevil run to Batman in a violent, gritty story of an old man reclaiming his former glory. Like most Batman stories, it also featured a, this time thoroughly roided up, interpretation of the Joker. This Joker can actually stand toe-to-toe with Batman for a little while before inevitably losing the fight with the Dark Knight. Left with a fractured vertebrae and always the one to get the last laugh, the Joker twists his neck until it finally breaks and kills him. As well as making it look like Batman killed the Clown Prince of Crime, it also succeeded in being one of the most chilling and wince-inducing panels ever put to paper. Joker, the entire book. Brian Azzarello and Lee Bermejo's Alternative Universes take on the Joker is probably the grimmest the Joker has ever been. Taking a much more grounded approach to Batman's universe, featuring a much less mutated version of Killer Croc, this Joker is screwed up. The story is told from the perspective of one of the Joker's henchmen, following the Joker around as he tries to re-establish his crime empire after having been let out of Arkham Asylum. He's willing to do anything in order to get his kicks, including breaking into an old couple's home, murdering them, and laying in their bed, with them still in it just for fun. Not only that, but he skins his ex-partner alive just because he was in the way of his goals, and even goes as far as to rape his henchman's ex-wife. The Joker is vicious, ruthless, and cruel in this gritty interpretation of the character, grounding itself with a very realistic art style, making the horrors of the book far more real. What did you think of this list? Leave a comment and let us know. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and check out the rest of our channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to CBR for cool videos about movies, action heroes, gaming, comics, and much more.